Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. As many of you know, when I get a batch of green wood, I like to turn it green and get it roughed so that, one, it dries a lot quicker, and two, it is actually much easier to remove wood when the wood is wet than when it's dry. But then it gets to a point where it is dry. I turned this 6 months ago, and it is now dry and warped. I've weighed it periodically, and now the last time I weighed it, the weight actually went up a little bit. So yeah, it's stable now. But it has warped fairly significantly. You can see the amount of deviation in the rim, and as usual, in the length it hasn't shrunk much. It's 8.5 to 8 3/4, but across the width it is now 8 1/4 or less. So there's a significant deviation. I hope that I have left enough wood in the rim, particularly, to return it. But now it is time to turn this bowl and make it into a finished bowl.
This wood is ornamental pear from a neighbor's tree that blew down in a microburst. I've ripped it in half and clipped off the corners. Now to press it against a large wood faceplate with the live center for holding power. No screws. With my large bowl gouge, I'm cutting from the bottom since the cut is then into side grain, which is much easier to cut than end grain. My speed is slow due to the out-of-balance condition of the wood, so I have to whittle away at the corners and bumps until I can turn up the speed. After the wood is round, I take a short break to cut a mounting tenon on the bottom. This pear is dense, still soft from being green, quite nice to turn. Then finish the rough shaping of the exterior of this bowl. This one will have a large lip. The bowl is now reversed into a chuck using that tenon I just cut. I'll keep the live center in place for a while for security while I do some heavy cuts with my bowl gouge to remove a lot of wood from the center. Then go on to hollow the interior but leave the wall thickness at about 3/4 inch for this diameter. Hopefully that will be enough for the final turning. That depends on how much this bowl warps while it dries. I have no control over that, so we'll see what happens. I've sealed the green wood with Tree Saver. About 6 months have passed. Periodically, I've weighed the wood and recorded the weight. Now that I see that the weight has actually increased, I know that it is as dry as it's going to be. This has warped quite a bit. In addition to shrinkage across the width of 1/2 inch, the rim has become quite wavy. Now I've pressed the bowl against a closed chuck. This works better than a flat faceplate since the rim has warped. The chuck provides a somewhat rounded surface to center the bowl. The live center is pressed into the same mark as when I was turning the green bowl. First order of business is to recut the original mounting tenon. It has also warped and needs a tune-up. Then start trimming the exterior to take out the warp. I'm not going all the way right now. I only want to remove enough to take off all of that sealer. I've reversed the bowl yet again. First, I want to take out the warp on the rim. Then, since I have reversed the bowl, chances are that the axis is not quite true. A few more strokes with a shear cut with the book gouge trues the exterior very nicely. I can now adjust the interior again with my large bowl gouge. Mostly, I can eyeball the wall thickness. However, it helps to calibrate with an actual thickness gauge. A heavy bowl scraper finishes off the interior. Then, sand it all. Before I mount the bowl into the coal jaws, I measure the wall next to the foot, and the tenon to assess how much wood I can remove with the foot. After all, I hate funnels. Then carefully adjust the foot with my gouges. I have to be careful, since the lathe speed is very limited for the coal jaws. I finish up with my skew to delineate the outer portion and to make a couple of decorative circles in the middle. Then sand and sine the bowl. Finally, I give the bowl a quick bath in walnut oil. With the drying time in between, the bowl is nice and uniformly round. This time, I did not want a warped bowl. The bowl has a mellow color, but not a lot of pronounced grain. Just enough to show that it is wood. This one is lightweight, the rim feels good in my hands. This pear is pretty. 6 months in the making, it's worth it. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe on my website, tell your friends, and send me your comments and questions. Every week, I make a new woodturning video. There are now 8 years worth and over 400 videos to choose from on my website. But please wear your full face shield anytime the lathe is running. Until next week's video, this is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns.